I want to take this moment and thank Audi for taking the US market a little bit more seriously when it comes to performance. We now have a total of 8 RS models to pick from, well, technically 7 if you don't count the RS e-tron GT, but this one here is my personal favorite. My name is Omar, and today I'm test driving the 2021 Audi RS7, and man, this thing makes me wish I was insanely rich. So yeah, I couldn't be happier with Audi finally starting to flush out their RS lineup here in the United States. We've been itching for new RS models to compete with BMW M cars and AMGs. The RS7, the RS7 Sportback to be specific, is one of the most beautiful cars in Audi's lineup. Not to mention, this thing is very, very fun to drive. The RS7 here takes on the BMW M8 GranCoupe, the Mercedes-AMG GT63 4-door, and the Porsche Panamera Turbo. So how does it stack up against the competition? Let's find out. Today I'll give you a tour of the Audi RS7, and then make sure you stick around until the end of my review for my driving impressions and whether or not I recommend this over the competition. Make sure you hit subscribe, make sure you hit like. All right, let's do this. So let's kick it off like we always do by taking a look at all of the cool and interesting things that you should know about the 2021 Audi RS7, but obviously we must start with the launch control. So to launch control the Audi RS7, you can go through all the settings or you can just enter a preset RS mode. Now, just like BMW M models, Audi has an RS mode button on the steering wheel and you can pick between RS1 and RS2. You can customize each of the RS modes through the infotainment system. So for RS mode 1, I have everything set to basically sport except for the suspension and the engine sound. That's how I like it. I like to be comfortable with my suspension and everything else maxed out. And then RS mode 2, I have everything set to the most extreme setting that the RS7 is capable of. So let's pop it in RS mode 2 and do that launch control. Now the RS7 does have a hidden spoiler in the back which automatically deploys at speeds above 60 miles an hour, but you can just click this button right here if you want to deploy it manually and flex. Personally, I would keep it up about 99% of the time just to flex because I can be a child sometimes. Now I've said it before and I'll say it again, Audi's lighting game is definitely the best in the luxury segment, and just like the Audi RS6 that I recently tested, the RS7 has some pretty cool animations. When you lock or unlock your RS7, check out what happens with the taillights. They do a really cool animation and make you feel special about the money you're spending here. The taillights in the back will also do their own animation, which honestly I kind of like better than the animations on the headlamps. These taillights are simply outstanding. Oh, and by the way, can we just appreciate these sequential turn signals? These are really awesome. You have them on the taillights and you also have them on the headlamps in the front. These are very cool. Now here's something that I've kind of glossed over in other Audi reviews, but their camera game is one of the best in the industry. You have a bunch of camera angles that you can pick from. This is your wide angle front, then you have your normal angle front, then you have a top view, your rear view camera right there, rear view, wide angle, and then you have other camera angles you can pick from. But the best camera angle is obviously the 3D camera angle. Once you hop in here, you can just swipe around the screen and look at your Audi in a 3D angle. Audi's 3D image mapping technology is next level. Check out what happens when I indicate. You'll actually see the indicators turn on right here in the 3D view. That is very cool. Now let's talk about pricing. Pricing for the Audi A7, the regular one, starts at $69,200, and then you can go for the S7 for $84,400. But if you want the big boss RS7, your starting price tag is $114,000. But as tested here, you're looking at around $137,000. So what here bumps my test model's price around an extra $22,000, which is technically a price of a new car? Let's find out. You've got $500 for this carbon fiber twill on the inside. This looks really cool. I would pay $500 for this. Now, if you want better sound from your Audi RS7, you can go for the sports exhaust for an extra $1,000 if you really want to piss off your neighbors. The driver assist package will cost you $2,250. I would probably skip that one. You'll pay $2,500 for the executive package, which adds more leather around the interior. It will also give you heated rear seats, a cool heads-up display, and it will give you soft closing doors, which I think should be standard for an Audi that's already starting at a price tag of $114,000. And then you have the two most expensive options. One is the carbon optics package for $6,650. That will give you a cooler exterior trim with carbon fiber touches all around. You also get all the badges blacked out for a more sleeker look. And then you have the most beautiful 22-inch wheels that I've ever seen in my life. These are definitely the best looking wheels in the game right now. But by far the most expensive option here are these giant red carbon ceramic brakes. Carbon ceramic brakes themselves will start at $8,500, but if you want the red brake calipers right here, you'll have to pay $9,000. That is insane. And honestly, you could keep going further and price out an RS7 close to 150K. Let's talk horsepower and torque while the engine actually cools off. Power comes from a 4-liter twin-turbo V8 making 591 horsepower and 590 pound-feet of torque, and that's made it to an 8-speed automatic transmission. Now that will allow you to do 0 to 60 in just 3.5 seconds with a top speed of 190 miles an hour if you go for those expensive carbon ceramic brakes, because if you're going that fast, you need all that stopping power. When it comes to drive modes, you have the option to pick between comfort, auto, and dynamic, and obviously you have your RS1 and RS2 modes as well. Fuel economy wise, the RS7 will do 15 city and 22 highway. You have a 19.3 gallon tank capacity. I'm averaging, after a couple days of driving, a total of 10.8 miles a gallon. Now let's talk about the exterior design. The Audi RS7 here competes with some of the best looking cars out there, including the BMW M8 GranCoupe, the Mercedes-AMG GT63 S 4-door, and the Porsche Panamera Turbo S. So let's just say that out of all the models that I just mentioned, the Porsche Panamera Turbo S is probably the least exciting when it comes to looks. Look, I'm just being honest here. That leaves us with the Audi, the BMW, and the Benz, and it's really hard for me to pick which one I would go with here. That said, the Audi RS7 is damn good looking. It definitely has the most striking presence in this segment, and it actually looks very beefy. I actually had the chance to park this next to a regular A7 at a grocery store, and the RS7 definitely demands way more attention with flared wheel arches and a wider body. This thing looks super aggressive. Now yeah, the front end looks really tough with a giant grille finished in gloss black and wider air intakes, but the rear is where this thing really shines. It's very rare that I like the rear of the car more than the front, but it's definitely the case here. I love these taillights and I love the overall presence of this car from the back. Let's check out the cargo capacity. Before we move on, you can pop the trunk by using the button located right here or from your keys, and when it opens up, you have 25 cubic feet behind the second row, and with the second row folded, you have cargo capacity for days and days and days. Let's take a seat inside and check out the interior, and by the way, it smells really nice in here. But yeah, it's everything that you would expect from the interior of a high-end Audi. Audi is well known for outstanding interior quality, and this is probably the best expression of that. Since the Audi RS7 is already so expensive, it comes standard with heated and ventilated seats along with the heated steering wheel. But if you want heated rear seats, you will have to go for the executive package that I mentioned earlier. The executive package gives you extended leather everywhere. You get leather on the dash, you get leather on the armrest, you even get leather on the center console. So yeah, it feels very luxurious in here. By the way, you can get massaging seats in here, but you will have to pay extra and forego these awesome Sport RS seats, which personally I wouldn't. I don't really care for massaging seats. They're not going to fix any back pain, so I would stick with these awesome looking seats right here. Rear leg room for the A7, S7, and the Audi RS7 comes in at 37 inches, which is not bad at all. I'm about 6 foot tall. That's my seating position. These are sports seats, so they're a little bit bigger. As you can see, still have plenty of room, so good for me. And since the RS7 comes with 4-zone climate control, you have your own climate control panel back here, so you can set the temperature for each rear passenger. And again, with the executive package, you get heated rear seats as well, so pretty cool. Tech-wise, you have Audi's virtual cockpit display, which is one of the best in the industry. I've gone over this many times before, so I'll link some of my other Audi reviews in the description below. If you want a deeper dive in RS models, you get an RS display mode, and it looks like a runway. This is a very cool display. You can have a full map view, or you can have this other view where you can have more information. I've also gone over the dual screen MMI infotainment system here as well, so if you want to get a deeper dive, go check out my other Audi reviews. But this is definitely one of the more simpler infotainment systems in the segment. You get standard wireless Apple CarPlay and standard wireless Android Auto. You also get standard navigation here in the RS7. Now, before I give you my opinion on how it is to drive the new RS7, let me point out a few random things that I'll have to show all of you. You have 4 cup holders, 2 in the front for the front passengers, and then you have 2 in the back in the center armrest for the rear passengers. Here are what the keys look like to the Audi RS7. You have a nice little RS logo in the back, and then you have lock, unlock, and the trunk release button, and that's about it. Door open and close from the outside. The door handles are actually electronic releases, so you just kind of pull on them. From the outside, And from the inside, pretty solid. It's an Audi. Come on, what did you expect? Now, when it comes to the charging game, everything is hidden right here in the armrest. So you have a wireless charger right there and 2 USB-C ports for the front passengers. Pretty nice. Rear passengers get to enjoy 2 USB-C ports and a cigarette lighter charger. And I just noticed that each of the USB-C ports have a number. So there's 1, 2 in the front, 3, 4 in the back. And of course, let's do an indicator and horn sound test here on the 2021 Audi RS7. Indicator first. Pretty Audi. Now for the horn sound, let me just lower my window. Here we go. Oh yeah, very solid indeed. And now that I've given you a tour of the 2021 Audi RS7, let me give you my opinion on how it drives. All right, let's get to it. There's honestly nothing to not like about the RS7. It's honestly perfect. Yes, with a starting price tag of $114,000, this thing is very expensive. But if you look at the rest of the segment, this thing is actually quite a bargain. The BMW M8 GranCoupe has a pretty interesting story. Originally in 2020, there was an M8 GranCoupe for $130,000, and then you would go to the M8 Competition GranCoupe for $143,000 or so. But it seems like they have now dropped the M8 GranCoupe, and now you only have the M8 GranCoupe Competition, and the price of that has dropped to $130,000. You then have the AMG GT63 4-door for around $140,000, and then you have the AMG GT63S 4-door for around $162,000. And then you have the Porsche Panamera Turbo, which demands an insanely high price tag of around $180,000. So yeah, the RS7 is actually quite a bargain compared to the rest of the segment before you add on the $9,000 carbon ceramic brakes like my test model has here. So how does it drive? Honestly, it's amazing to me how Audi has struck the perfect balance between comfort and sport in the RS7. As a daily driver in comfort mode, this thing just cruises along in a very smooth manner. You can still accelerate a little harder in comfort mode and tap into the 591 horsepower, but it's still very well contained and very well balanced. To totally unleash this thing, you can pop it into dynamic mode or one of your preset RS modes, and this thing will go totally nuts. It sounds amazing. Acceleration is insanely quick, and a 0 to 60 time of 3.5 seconds isn't the quickest in the segment, but who the heck cares? You're literally about 0.2 or 0.5 seconds off from the competition, but 3.5 seconds is insanely impressive. Handling wise, this thing will leave you feeling confident. The steering feel doesn't get as tight as the competition, but it's still pretty solid. I actually like this quite a bit. It hugs the road pretty nice and tight. Now, I recently tested the Audi RS6 Avant, which is basically a station wagon version of this, and the Audi RS6 Avant is amazing when it comes to looks, but I think the RS7 here looks just a little bit better. And if you hate station wagons, it's kind of your loss because the Audi RS6 Avant will give you the same performance for about $5,000 less. But hey, who am I kidding? If I had the money, I would also go for the RS7 because this thing is a complete package in terms of performance, comfort, luxury, and beauty. But would I pick this over the competition? The chances are very high. Honestly, it would be a tough battle between the BMW M8 GranCoupe Competition and this for me. But considering that this is about $16,000 cheaper than the BMW, all right, RS7 it is. Either way, thanks for watching. Make sure you hit subscribe, make sure you hit like, make sure you follow me on Instagram and on TikTok. My handle is @OmarDrives. I'll catch you on the next one. Take care. Peace. RS Mode 2. Oh my God. And somebody just cut me off. So that killed that. Fun.